hosting a party. Well, hosting a small get-together, I'll be honest. I do not like hosting. I hate it. It is terrifying to me. I have social anxiety. I have a clutter problem, and I also have ADHD. So focusing long enough to prepare for having people in my house is quite the challenge. But today we are getting ready to host a small get-together with some of my husband's family and friends because that's all he wanted for Father's Day. So come along as we address all of this clutter and mess in the kitchen. And also we get to a bathroom, the living room, and even my bedroom a little bit because it is all just a mess. The first thing that I do anytime I decide to tackle my kitchen is put away the clean dishes and make room in the dishwasher so that I can deal with any dirty dishes that I come across as I'm cleaning up. I know this sounds super straightforward and simple and like a big duh, but for me, I think when I used to walk into the kitchen and have an intention to clean or tidy up, I would just be so overwhelmed and not know where to start. So over the last 6 months, since I've been on this decluttering and cleaning journey, I have decided that this is always my first step. Always put away the clean dishes first and always get some of the dirty dishes into the dishwasher so that I can have the dishwasher work for me while I am working on the rest of the kitchen. This shouldn't really be a huge revelation, but I don't know, as somebody who grew up in a home where I never was really required to do any chores or housework, this is something that I've had to learn for myself, that I've had to learn through trial and error. My parents are wonderful people. I have a lovely relationship with them now. But when I was growing up, they just were really having their own struggles. And they just weren't in a place where they had the capacity to focus on teaching me how to keep up with housework. The person who was most influential in my life when I was a kid was actually my grandfather, my dad's dad. He was the one who taught me how to drive, took me to school, took me to all my ballet classes, and he just kind of always quietly did the housework himself. He would just kind of swoop in and clean up. He would make dinner for us. He just, I don't know, he was kind of like our house mom while my mom and dad were both working. So I'm so grateful to him that he was there for my family. But he just, like I said, quietly did everything. He never invited me to help. He never told me I had to help. And so I didn't really learn from anyone how to keep house, how to keep up with the dishes, how to keep a countertop clean. I actually come from a long line of family members who couldn't really keep the tabletop clean. My own parents' dining room table continues to this day to be filled with paperwork and things of that nature. And so I am really trying to break these habits because honestly, it just feels better to have a clean surface, right? You'll see at the end of this video, or not even at the end, like towards the middle when I finish with the kitchen, and my husband also contributed a great deal to the deep cleaning of the kitchen. You'll see the countertops be completely clear. There's, I think, just like a toaster and some appliances, but removing all of the clutter, removing even like the drying rack for the bottles and things like that has made such a difference in how I feel when I walk into this kitchen and dining area. Also, right now, as I'm washing the dishes, you can see behind me, there's a little table for my daughter. She's 2 years old. And you can see this little table, and it's kind of like an activity table for her, and it has a little pretend sink on it. And even getting rid of that from the kitchen has made a huge difference. She did play with it semi-frequently, and sometimes I would put her food on that table because she kind of wanders around and grazes throughout the day. But the table wasn't serving a big enough purpose for us to justify keeping it there. And I've noticed how much easier it is just to walk through that space and feel like I don't have to go through an obstacle course just to get from the hallway over to the refrigerator or the sink. So I really am proud of the way that we cleaned up. And I think hosting is actually one of the best ways to do a deep clean or a real significant overhaul of a space. Because when I've done these declutters and cleanups of my kitchen in the past, it usually is just for me and our family, and just something that, is necessary to do, but not something where I'm worried about what other people might think. And so whenever we are going to host or have people over to our house, it really is a big motivator to get into like the nitty-gritty of cleaning and making sure those spaces that I kind of gloss over all the time are actually clean, not just sort of clean or clean on the surface. I have to give my husband a lot of credit. You're not going to see him as much just because I was doing other things while he was cleaning in the kitchen, but he really did an excellent job of, cleaning the stovetop, cleaning out the toaster. Like, that's something I never really think about. Getting rid of that drying rack for the bottles that I talked about. Those were all his thing that he decided to do. He also just decided that he didn't want as many things living on the countertops as we had up there. So kudos to my husband, Ed. He made some decisions that I usually just avoid. And again, I'm not really like a detail-oriented person. I'm kind of like a big picture person, and I've said that in a lot of my videos before, but it's true. I kind of look at the whole big picture and just think, oh, this is good enough. And the refrigerator is a big reflection of that. As I am opening this refrigerator, I'm realizing what a disaster it has become over the last couple of months since I did a major clean out of it before. I had just brought home a bunch of groceries because we're hosting. So I brought home a lot of stuff that needs to go in the refrigerator. And before I put it away, I decided to clean things out. I didn't do a deep clean of this fridge, just again for time. I did have groceries just sitting on the table that needed to be put away. But I am really happy with myself that I took the time to just tackle this task. It's something that every time I open the fridge on a daily basis, I do in my head, I notice the things that are expired or, some of the leftovers that I know darn well we're never going to eat. And I make a mental note. I'm aware of all those things that are going on, but for some reason, my brain just doesn't, it just doesn't go that extra step to take the couple of seconds that it would take in the moment to just remove those items and toss them in the trash. So that is something that I want to work on more in the future going forward, is whenever I notice something that is expired or notice something that I already know we're not going to eat later, that I will just in that moment reach my little hand in there, grab the thing, and put it in the trash. This is one of those discipline things that, again, I just never was really shown as a kid. I was never required to do it as a kid. The whole idea of clean as you go, or, every time you get out of the car, take whatever trash you have with you and throw it away right away. If I had learned those habits and sort of instilled them in my being at a younger age, I think I would have an entirely different home and certainly a different car. But, I just never did. I just never did those things. And it's not too late. I am 40 years old, but it is definitely not too late to learn new habits, but it's just going to take a little more effort and, just for me to be constantly aware of it and to keep reminding myself why it's important. And why is it important, right? I think in this particular instance with the refrigerator, it's important because I waste a lot of money. I waste a lot of food and I waste a lot of money when I'm not mindful of what is in my refrigerator, and I'm not responsibly throwing things away as it comes up, and I'm not responsibly using the items in the refrigerator in a timely manner. When I have tried to meal plan, and you can look at my most recent video about my failure at meal planning. But when I try to meal plan, I am now really trying to be better about looking at what we already have before I put in that grocery order or before I go to the grocery store, so that we can use up the food that we already have. Again, I know this is not like mind-blowing information. This is not a revelation. This isn't something that is a new concept to probably most people. But again, for me, I'm having to train myself on how to be a good homemaker, a good steward of our finances, a good steward of our food and belongings in our home. I'm just having to kind of do it from scratch, and it is a big task. Oh, look at all of that stuff I'm throwing away. Oh, it really does pain me because that's a lot of money right there that I'm just tossing out. But anyway, as I was saying, I am just really trying to focus on looking ahead, looking forward, and not beating myself up over the past, because there's nothing I can do about the past, right? There's no point in being mad at myself or shaming myself. It's just about moving forward. See that I'm making a little cup of milk for my daughter. Part of the difficulty of maintaining my home is the fact that I do have children and I live with other people. Living by myself, I wasn't the tidiest person either, to be honest. But, when you have children and they're making messes and you're making messes and they need things throughout the day, you have to pay attention to them. I mean, obviously, ideally, I'm paying attention to my daughter and not just ignoring her while I'm cleaning. So throughout this whole process, we did have to take several breaks and just make sure that we were connecting and that she had what she needed. So anytime I do a major cleanup or anything like that and my daughter is at home with me, I absolutely prioritize her needs first and make sure that I'm just paying attention to her. And a lot of the time she's perfectly happy to, watch a show on her iPad or play with her toys or, whatever it is that she feels like doing. But sometimes she's really not, and I have to remind myself what's more important. But the consequence of that is that oftentimes my house just does not look the way that I want it to look. It doesn't, because I struggle if I lose motivation or if I lose focus while I'm doing a task, like, this particular task. My husband and I both decided, okay, we're going to spend today cleaning up and preparing. So at this point in the day, my husband was still at work. He came home, later in the day, and he contributed to the cleanup as well. But while I was here by myself, I just had to do my very best to balance staying on task and staying motivated, even though this was, like the last thing I really wanted to do, and taking care of my daughter and making sure that she had what she needed and was happy. And that really is another thing, right? This is never what I really want to be doing. I am so tired lately, and I am just worn out. And my husband, like I said at the beginning, he really wanted to host people for Father's Day. He really wanted to be with family and just enjoy ourselves and hang out with people that we care about. And I love that about my husband. I love that those are important things to him. And it's important to me too, but I'm a little more introverted. But when we're hosting, I have no choice but to clean up, right? And that's part of why he likes to host, is that it gives us, some urgency to clean up. But this is never what I want to be doing. This is never my top priority. This is never something that I wake up in the morning and think, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to get into that kitchen and clean it up. So if that's you, just know that you're not alone. It's okay to not particularly enjoy cleaning, especially if you don't feel like you're really good at it. Like, I don't feel that I'm really good at it. It's just not my thing. And I'm sure it's not most people's thing. I know that there are a lot of people who love to clean. But I'm not one of those people. I'm really not one of those people, which is so funny to me that now this has really become sort of what this channel is about, is me just tidying up my house, clearing out my house, cleaning. This is not really my intention at all. I wanted to do a channel about, being 40 and like trying to juggle my whole life. But apparently I'm giving the people what they want, and this is what they want. So here it is. But yeah, if I'm being totally honest, cleaning up is really not my favorite. It's really not, but that's okay. The thing that I have found is, since we've done this big cleanup, it has been easier to maintain it. It really has. But I still have to spend a good, 15, 20 minutes at the end of each day doing a kind of like a closing shift of the kitchen and the living room. I have to make sure all the dishes are put in the dishwasher. I have to make sure we've taken everything off of the table, because if I leave anything on that dining room table, it's like a magnet. It just attracts more and more stuff. So I'm just really grateful that it's clean right now. It does make it easier to maintain, but there's still work that has to be done on a daily basis. Still work that has to be done. We have to clean every night. We have to put things away every night. And if I don't do that, if I let it go for a day or two, we're back to square one and the countertops looking like they do here. So here we are in the living room. I've almost cleaned up all of the toys that were kind of scattered around. And, this room is an interesting spot in our house right now, especially in relation to hosting other people, right? This is not, a traditional living room space. This is really, honestly, our daughter's playroom. She is 2 years old and she has a lot of energy and she likes to be near us. So as much as I would love to have all of these toys like the trampoline and that climbing structure in the basement or in a playroom, the truth of the matter is that our daughter just likes to be with us and she doesn't want to be down in the basement by herself or in her room by herself. So for now, this is a season where she just gets to have the living room, and that's okay. It's not forever. Here we are. I had an intention of tidying up our bedroom. I did a major declutter of the bedroom recently, but, things creep back in where they don't belong. So I was planning to tidy up the bedroom on this day, but I ended up getting distracted and coming back into the kitchen. And as you can see, this is a little later in the day. I've had a chance to take a shower, put on a different outfit, and the dishwasher had already run from earlier in the day. So I came back and thought, oh my goodness, maybe I should put away the clean dishes. So I did. I came back and put away the clean dishes. But that meant that I completely forgot to deal with the bedroom. Oh, and there is my sweet husband. He has come home early from work. He is ready to rock and roll and really fine-tune the kitchen. I often sort of neglect the floors. I neglect, like you can see in that bottom left corner, I neglect the dog bowl area, the feeding station. And so you'll see later on in this video, like those things are going to be all cleaned up. The floor is going to be cleaned up. He even like decluttered all the stuff that was on the refrigerator and actually cleaned the refrigerator. So he really did a great job of taking care of these finishing touches here in the kitchen. He is really more of our detail-oriented person in our family. So I really appreciate that about him because, as mentioned before, that is really not my strong suit. So yeah, and I'm also really grateful that we are working together on this. As I mentioned before, when I have a toddler running around in the house, it is so difficult to do any one task from start to finish. And so having just another person there working on the same goals, working on the same tasks, is super duper helpful. And here I am just doing some dishes again. I feel like this is kind of the never-ending task. Like there are just always going to be dishes forever and ever, like for the rest of my life. So I guess that is just part of life, part of being an adult, part of, consuming things. But I'm trying to view it now as more of like a meditation, like whenever I'm doing the dishes, to just be in the moment, feel the water, just enjoy that time that I have to myself to just think. But, I think sometimes it is hard to appreciate. All right, so my husband has also added a leaf in the table when he got home. So now our table has expanded, which is dangerous because we already have a habit of leaving things on the table. But we are going to see these people soon, right? We're having these people come over and we're hosting this party soon. And so hopefully there's not enough time to really clutter up the table before our guests arrive. And now here I am, I'm preparing to refill my medication, my daily little med boxes, my pill boxes. If you are somebody who has to take medication on a daily basis, whether it's for mental health or your physical health or whatever it is, I highly recommend just getting the little pill boxes, because I'm somebody who has, like I said, I have ADHD. I'm often forgetful. I do set a lot of like reminders and timers on my phone, but I would sometimes forget if I already took a medication, and then I would skip it because I wasn't sure if I already took it and I didn't want to overdo it. And now just having these daily pill boxes has been such an incredible thing for me, because now I always know, did I take my medication that day or not? And even if it's a little bit later in the day, I can still take it. So really happy with that. And actually, I'm realizing that this is the day of the party. I changed outfits like 4 times because I was just not comfortable. But yeah, so anyway, highly recommend pill boxes if you are someone who has trouble remembering your medications. Oh, and here is my trusty husband taking the garbage out. Thank you so much. And this is our setup for the party. We have a nice little tablecloth. The table is huge, but it will accommodate everyone. Like I said before, my husband cleaned up the dog food station. I'm so happy. He decluttered all of the junk that was on the refrigerator. He cleaned the floors. He did another round of cleaning up these countertops that I had already addressed the day before, but he just took it a step further. Like I said, got rid of that rack, the drying rack that was there, made such a huge difference. Oh, I'm so happy with how this looks, and I have been able to maintain it. This was filmed about 3 days ago, and we are still rocking out with the clean countertops. I'm so proud of myself. Now I'm going to just show you the bathroom. This is my son's bathroom, but it is also our guest bathroom. So hello. It's nothing super special. We need to finish the flooring in here, and put the doorway back on. And then this is how the living room looks the day of the party. I know I had put the blocks away already. I had put the trampoline away the day before, but my daughter lives here and uses these items. So sometimes we just have to accept that things are not going to be perfect for our guests, and that's okay because we live here, and I would rather my daughter be happy and active than have a pristine, perfect home. Now I am entering the phase of the day where I'm preparing some of the food for the party. I'm getting some fruit and berries together, just making a nice little fruit salad for people. I'm also going to chop some onions. At this point in the day, I still was under the impression that we were having a barbecue. My husband had said he wanted to grill, and so I bought a bunch of burger patties, I bought onions, I bought, just a bunch of stuff that you would buy for grilling. And so you're going to see me cut some onions up and things like that. But what actually happened is that we got tamales, we got beans and rice, we got chips and guac, and we ended up not grilling at all. We just didn't. We had a full meal with the tamales and rice and beans and chips and guac and the fruit. So we did not end up grilling on this day, but the next day. So we had the party on a Saturday. So we ended up making the hamburgers on Sunday, on actual Father's Day. So it did all kind of work out, but it was just funny. I just didn't realize that we weren't going to grill and how much food other people were going to bring. So we were grateful for that, and it also made cleanup a lot easier. The fact that we mostly just served takeout. Also, I'm taking out paper plates right now and plastic cups. I am so grateful for paper plates. I know they are terrible for the planet, and I am so sorry, but I'm having a little crisis here, dancing around and trying to figure out what I'm doing. I think my daughter probably asked for a snack or something. What am I looking? Oh, I'm looking for the onions. I cannot find the onions. My husband put them away somewhere because they had been on the countertop, but I do find them and I do chop them eventually. But anyway, what I was going to say is paper plates. Man, oh man, there was a period of time where we only used paper plates every night and for our own house, not for parties, just every day we used paper plates, and it was amazing. So amazing. I know we have a dishwasher. I know it doesn't take that much effort to go ahead and just put plates in the dishwasher, but let me tell you, since we had this party the other day, we've continued to use the paper plates, and it's amazing. I'm honestly considering going back to just using paper plates because I hate doing the dishes. I really hate it. I hate it so much. And I hate how quickly the dishwasher gets full. It really gets full very, very quickly and easily. And it takes forever to run. I think the dishwasher takes 4 hours or something crazy to run its full cycle. So I don't know, guys. Don't hate me, but I feel like paper plates are kind of the way to go. Kind of the way to go. So we'll see. Here I am giving my daughter her lunch, making her some peanut butter toast with honey. That is her absolute favorite. She does not eat a ton of protein on a day-to-day basis, but she will eat. She will eat peanut butter. So I appreciate that about her, that she'll eat the peanut butter. I don't know about you guys, but my toddler mostly lives on berries and carbs. She does not does not eat meat. She used to eat eggs when she was younger, but now, like, no, she won't touch it. She wants sweet stuff mostly, but she'll eat cheese. Like, she'll eat pistachios and sunflower seeds, but as far as like real solid protein, it's a tough one. But if you're a toddler parent or you have had toddlers, I'm sure you can relate. So anyway, here I am just cleaning up. Again, just trying to, like I said, enjoy washing the dishes, changing my mindset on that. I know I just said I hate the plates and like I don't like having to fill up the dishwasher, but things like washing a wooden chopping board and things like that are not terrible. It is kind of relaxing to wash those things. Here you can see we're getting closer to people actually arriving at our house. My husband's cutting up some watermelon for us and just generally being a handsome, attractive man. I do feel lucky that I have him. It's, we don't always see eye to eye on everything, as I'm sure is true in most marriages, but I do love him very much, and I think he's pretty great. And now I had to head down back to the laundry room to grab a big blanket. I'm taking care of the other stuff that was in the dryer with the blanket, but ultimately I came down here because I needed the blanket that you're about to see, because our sofa, even though we vacuumed it, well, my husband vacuumed it and cleaned it out, it is still pretty weird and gross and often has dog hair on it. So we put a big blanket on there just to cover, and you can see the dog hair that came off of the blanket. So I'm going to take that back up and we are ready to party in just a second here. Here is the real party. Yay! And we had a very strange bottle of wine gifted to us previously, not by any of the people here. It's like a Pegasus. I don't know. I don't really drink anymore, but it was a pretty strong wine that we had to celebrate with. And I didn't film a lot during the actual get-together, just out of respect for everybody there, but this is what we just imagine. Just imagine the fun we had. And then here is the aftermath of the party. All of that counter space that was so clean is just full of food and stuff. But like I said, because it was mostly takeout, it was pretty easy to just put all of that stuff in containers and put it away and clean it up that way. So it didn't take too long. We also had some gifts that people brought for my daughter because it was her birthday the week before. So that tub you're gonna see in a second is full of some pretend food that she got. So we were really, really grateful for the gifts that people brought for us. And now here's the next morning. We cleaned everything off. We were able to pretty much clean everything up and put everything away. The sink's not too bad. The only thing that we're gonna take care of here is some bags of chips. There was some leftover coffee stuff, but I'm just gonna go ahead, make breakfast real quick for my daughter, and then put these chips away, and then make myself a cup of coffee, and just be grateful that we had a fun experience with people that we love and care about. But yeah, man, this was a lot of work, and thankfully it was a team effort. Oh, and here goes that darn dishwasher again. This is like the never-ending task, but that's okay. I'm realizing more and more that this is just life, and that's okay. And the sooner that I accept that this is just life and just embrace it, the better off I'm going to be. Because the more I resist it and the more I'm bitter about it, the harder the task is, right? If you have a poor mindset or a resentful, bitter mindset, it just makes everything harder. So I am doing my best to choose to be meditative, like I said, to, maybe enjoy is a strong word, but to at least just sort of accept the reality and just be okay with the repetitive nature of these tasks and not resist it so much.